There's a massive game just around the corner, and I want to start by asking you a question. How are the vibes? You know, in these first few weeks of this show's existence, we've discovered what we call those of us who gather here under the umbrella of everything else with Joshua Brisco. Live, if you can, noon at Mondays and Fridays on the KCSN YouTube channel, or whenever you listen later on. We're all vibes hunters now. We've established this, it became canonized very quickly, and I frankly like it. I Tucker D frankly like it. Vibes hunters, vibes gatherers, it's all about making sure you've at least foraged enough to get you through the winter when the vibes may be scarce. And I gotta tell you, as this week has gone on, my mood and my opinion on this Chiefs-Ravens game have evolved a little bit since Monday. I think you can build your case on this one in pretty much any way. And if you are live with us here on YouTube right now, Tucker's already put it in the chat, put it on the poll. Who's got the better vibes right now? Chiefs or Ravens? Now look, let me tell you, first of all, vibes do not win you football games inherently. If vibes gave you Lombardi trophies, the Lions would have had the last few. The Ravens certainly would have had one or two by now. The Bills certainly would have had one or two by now. The Chiefs' vibes have been good while winning Super Bowls. Last year, their vibes weren't great, and they got there. So I'm not making the argument that whoever has the best vibes win this game. That's a gross oversimplification. There are a bunch of things that will matter on the field. But I think we might be a little bit too close to the Chiefs. I think we might be paying a little bit too close of attention to the flaws and the issues and looking at the Baltimore Ravens through rose-colored glasses. This is, I think, a consequence of winning, a consequence of having remarkably high standards, and a consequence of expectations that your team literally never doesn't make the AFC Championship game. It's a double negative, but I think it deserved one. You expect the best, and then even last year, we went through all of the growing pains and all the issues of this injured offense, dragging itself through competence, dragging itself to a Super Bowl, and now, unfortunately, that entire season gets kind of remembered in the dustbin of history because it's when the Chiefs failed to complete the three-peat. When in reality, they successfully returned to the Super Bowl, and then by that point, the issues were too much to overcome. Right now, we're watching this team underneath a magnifying glass. We got a jeweler's loop hovered over this team right now. We are trying to see macro and micro. Why is this team 1-2, and where are they going from here? Is this the end of the dynasty? Is it the end, less dramatically? Is it the end of the AFC West streak? That's very much on the table right now. The Chargers are 3-0 with 3 AFC West wins. They are in the driver's seat. The division's not over. It's, let me check, September. But the Chargers are in great shape there. And the Chiefs always talk about the AFC West and winning the division. And if they do win it this year, it will be as sweet as any of them have been in a very long time. But we would all universally take a wild card path to the Super Bowl if that's what the Chiefs are able to put together. Okay. Here's where I feel like I got this internally wrong this week. I think I'm giving the Ravens a benefit of the doubt that I'm not sure they deserve. I don't think I've underestimated where the Chiefs stand right now. I think I feel pretty clear-headed on my evaluation of the Chiefs. Their flaws, their strengths, the places where things could get a lot better in this game against the Ravens, the things that have cost them so far. I feel relatively clear-headed there. But even watching Ravens-Lions and watching it through this view of like, how is this going to inform how I think about these two teams over the next 3 weeks? I think I'm giving the Ravens a little bit of plot armor that they've never successfully used. I think I'm looking at Lamar Jackson and going, man, I know their defense is just in the gutter right now, but they've got one of the most exciting things in the sport at quarterback. They've got one of the greatest running backs of all time behind him, and they've got a nice suite of weapons. This team's probably putting up 30. And then I gloss over the fact that those results from Baltimore have never quite materialized. Not just like in a do it in the playoffs kind of sense, but even specifically looking at what's happened this year. The Ravens are, I think, still a 2.5-point favorite over the Chiefs at Arrowhead. I can't imagine betting on this game. You live your life how you will. Personally, I will not be. Because I don't know. It feels like conventional wisdom now is that you gotta score 30 to beat the Ravens, and maybe the over is a lot. These are two teams who know each other really well, who also both have some pretty tremendous flaws at this point. Derrick Henry, in the very short recent term, has a fumbling problem. I don't know if that's comparable to perhaps Travis Kelce's current stretch of problems, mental mistakes, or, if nothing else, mistakes at terrible times. Great future Hall of Fame players with arguments as the best ever at their position. One thing that it just simply did not return to me until sometime midweek, Derrick Henry didn't just have the fumble that put the Ravens in a terrible spot against the Lions. He had 12 carries for 50 yards. The Ravens are, it's back-to-back games, I believe now, under 100 yards rushing for Baltimore. They were under 100 yards on the ground against the Lions. Derrick Henry had 23 yards against a very good Cleveland Browns defense, while the Ravens put up 41 points. They ran for 45 yards as a team against Cleveland. Now, they did okay through the year. Not a lot of yards, though. That was a weird game. I think when I look at these two teams and I try to adjust for the fact that I do want the Chiefs to win, and adjust for the fact that I want to make the argument that Mahomes and whoever else are going to have the advantage in the intangible side of things or in those fine moments, I think I'm adjusting to a version of the Ravens that has not played yet this year. This rattled further. I was listening to Football 301 with Nate Tyson, Charles McDonald. Just really, it is what the show title is. It's just very, very good football talk with a few of, I think, the best guys doing it at a national level right now. They talked about this game, and they talked about it in all the same terms that I thought we'd talk about it today, or a lot of the same stuff we talked about on Weird Games yesterday, things we'll talk about all the way up till kickoff. And then they both picked the Chiefs to win. In kind of a dejected way. Just like, yeah, I'll take the Chiefs. Yeah, me too. That was kind of jarring to me, just because I feel like the normal thing to do here is to say, yeah, I mean, the Chiefs are just kind of busted right now. They got to survive till Rashee Rice gets back, and then maybe then the vibes will return, the water level will rise for the offense, and they'll be able to overcome some of these things. The Ravens are in just as bad of a spot. Both of these teams at 1-2 with all of these Super Bowl aspirations. The Ravens are the one on the road. And yes, they've been much more effective offensively, but they cannot stop a coughing baby defensively. Meanwhile, the Chiefs' offense has occasionally featured some coughing babies. Very movable force, unmovable object. Is that right? I can't remember. They're both stoppable forces at this point. So I have a few things that I would like to see. We'll get to ow later. I remembered this week. For the first time. It's week 4. We've done this bit every week. Finally remembered. We'll get to the things that I want to see. Some of the specifics I do think are interesting. Tice also mentioned, I think it was that the Chiefs have been very, very poor against the run in base defense, which is kind of interesting because you think about them having a group of linebackers that can go downhill and probably plug up the run. I don't think the Chiefs are going to be able to just like wave a magic wand and make Lamar Jackson turn into a pumpkin. I don't think they're going to end up with 7 sacks. They don't have an Aiden Hutchinson off of the edge. But how many times do I need to see Steve Spagnuolo put decent-sized clamps down on Lamar before I'm willing to believe that there's something to that? That number's probably passed, right? This is a matchup the Chiefs have had the advantage in time and time again. If it was this year's Chiefs versus last year's Ravens, or these other iterations where they really have looked like the best team in football and they've done it with great players on both sides of the ball, then I think I'd be correct to be in this headspace of like, yeah, the Chiefs can win it, but they're going to need several things to go their way. Ultimately, these are two very evenly matched teams in similarly frustrated positions with very similar paths to how they got here. 2 losses in close games to good teams, 1 win over a bad team. Now you're here in week 4 playing for your life. I do think this game means slightly more for Kansas City, partially because it's a home game, but mostly because of how the division's set up right now. The Bengals are 2-1. They don't have Joe Burrow. The Steelers are 2-1. They're going to be 500. We know this. And Baltimore just has to then outrun the AFC North that way. The 3-0 Chargers do really kind of shake up what the Chiefs' options are here in terms of climbing back up the division. Also, where the schedule goes from here, kind of similar. The Ravens also go to the AFC South against the Texans, and then they get the Rams in the NFC. The Chiefs go Jags and then Lions. This is a massive football game that has stakes in a way that games in late September aren't supposed to have stakes. I don't know if, like the headline here at the top of the Ravens ESPN page is from a column from Jason Reed saying, Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes can't carry their teams alone. That's true, and they shouldn't be asked to. I don't know if it comes down to which quarterback has a better game. I think it's probably more about which supporting cast has the better game. Maybe even which struggling unit redeems themselves. I'm still very hesitant to say something like, hey, guarantee that Isaiah Pacheco runs for 80 yards and the Chiefs win this game. I don't know. I think the way the Chiefs attack the Ravens defense might be totally different than the way that the Lions did it. They don't have Jahmyr Gibbs or David Montgomery. They do have an offensive line that can be suited for running some of the same stuff. But they don't have those backs. I get it. Maybe a bunch of Brashard Smith jet sweep stuff is in the cards finally, and then that's gonna come out a little bit early to keep the Ravens defense moving the wrong direction. I think that's important, by the way. But there's going to be an opportunity for one of these struggling units, be it the Ravens defense, specifically the run defense, versus the Chiefs rushing attack. There are going to be plenty of opportunities for this game to swing on the units who have been the problem so far for both of these teams. I think that's fascinating. Let's talk about some of the specifics on offense, though. Here's what I would like. I will say, bring me offense in any given form. Let there be points. Offensive competence, however it comes, hallelujah. Let's see it. I am not going to go so hard and fast to say that they've got to score 30 to win this game. Maybe that's my Chiefs defensive optimism coming in a little bit. But I don't know. If you told me this game was 28-27, I think that the point would still stand even if neither team hit 30. I think there's also every chance this game is 35 to something. I will take whatever is working. That might be an easy take to have because I am not in an offensive meeting room and I'm not Andy Reid or Matt Nagy or any of those guys trying to come up with the answer. I'm telling you, I I don't really care what the answer is. Like I said, maybe I don't care what the process is, and I do care what the answer is. Xavier Worthy being back, fingers crossed, knock on wood, not official, but it seems like he's tracking that way. Nate Taylor said it on Leeward Games yesterday. I think he said he's expecting Worthy to play something like half the snaps. Cool, great. Whatever he's got. It's not a lower body injury, so I expect his legs and him being in football shape is going to be pretty good. So, happy for that. And the first time he gets tackled and lands weird on his shoulder, we're all going to get nervous. We're going to get nervous when Xavier Worthy gets tackled and lands sideways for the rest of the season, or at least for a few weeks until we're kind of convinced that it's not actually a problem, not something to actually be stressed out about every time he goes down. But for a while, it will be. I did think it was kind of interesting yesterday. Connor Embry, the wide receivers coach, said something like, "We're not telling him to catch the ball and slide or to jump out of bounds, right? Like when he's out there, he's out there." And you're playing football. I mean, not to pick at this still not fully healed wound, Xavier Worthy was injured by his teammate. He didn't get his head taken off by Vontaze Burfict. That was Travis Kelce running mesh wrong. Like, you can't play football safe. It's counter to the definition of the sport. So give me whatever Xavier Worthy's got and find a way to stress the Ravens defense regularly. I will say that even though we really celebrated last week that Patrick Mahomes did not lead this team in rushing, that he was not scrambling and moving the chains that way, I think that's back on the menu on Sunday. I think that I've always enjoyed it when Mahomes has pulled out that pitch in like a playoff game scenario. Like, all right, my receivers are covered. My running game's not getting it done. I've got a little bit of space. I'm going to create. Do that in January. Don't do that in September. Terms and conditions apply. This game counts. So maybe it's another one of those where you do get Mahomes on the move, where you do get creation any way you can find it. And that's not... Let me tell you why I'm a little bit... This might be much to the chagrin of Seth Kaiser and the lab guys and all of the people who have really gotten, correctly I think, into the weeds on like, here's why the Chiefs offense is so frustrating, or where the running game is falling apart, or where they... The sustainability of the offense does really matter. I do think it's a good use of time to figure out how they can adjust some things to continue making the offense more dangerous and more multiple down the stretch. That's worth doing. In this particular instance, if you find a way to beat the Ravens and Jags, or frankly, win 2 out of 3 Ravens, Jags, Lions, and then Rashee Rice comes back, well, the offense has already been fixed. Not fixed, but it's been patched up. When Rashee Rice comes back, my 2013 Ford Focus gets its oil changed, and the key things that keep that baby running get dealt with. There are still a couple of sensors on. There are still a couple of lights in places that I don't like. They give you the whole rundown. They say you can fix all of this for $6,000, or we can keep your car running for $1,050. And you go, well, I didn't really want to spend $1,000 on this today, but I have to have the car. Okay. We'll just do that, and I will politely decline these optional but valued services. If there are any car people in the chat, please don't yell at me. I try to, maintenance, I do understand maintenance extends the life of your car, but at some point, you just take what you can get, right? And you say, eventually the wheels are going to fall off. This car's almost old enough to drive, which would be really nice. Drive me around. Anyway. If the Chiefs get to the return of Rashee Rice and they're still firmly in the race for the AFC West, their playoff spot still seems pretty well held on to, then I think you just take it. I think you'd still be disappointed that that's the standard now, that is the lowering of the standard. I don't think that was the plan in the building. Like, well, we can lose 2 out of our first 3, and then we can go 2-1 out of the next 3, and there's no guarantee they go 2-1 out of the next 3. Even the Jags are like a little frisky. They're definitely friskier than the Giants, the only team you've beaten so far. Winning this game would be such a refresher. I said something similar during the Eagles week, so I'm reusing this take, but it's still true. If the Chiefs would have beaten the Eagles, we could have trashed that Chargers game pretty easy. If the Chiefs beat the Ravens, Chargers and Eagles week 1 and week 2, you're 2-0 in your last 2 games, and you've beaten, I guess the Chargers would have the argument, I guess, over where Baltimore would settle in. But you've got a victory over a fellow AFC contender. Maybe not the best team in the AFC you've played this year, because that could be the Chargers. But 2-2 with a win over the Ravens. The Chiefs are back in a healthy place. You go, okay, they're at least splitting the next 2, and then Rashee Rice comes back, and you can begin to kind of rebuild back up, especially offensively, build back up from there. You go 1-3. Maybe the offense is still kind of sticky. The gears don't turn quite right. Then we're going to need to be vibes foraging next week. Just finding some in your yard if you can. A win here would be so nice. They've got to find a way to put some points on the board. Maybe it means a better day from Travis Kelce. Maybe it means the different usage. I'm not going to just rehash everything we talk about on Weird Games, because at some point that's got to be redundant, right? But like Seth broke down a bunch of the things that he saw in the offense against the Giants that you want to see continuing to see going forward. So more Hollywood in the intermediate. More Tyquan Thornton. Hey, defensively, Noah Williams. Seems like another big day for you, and kick Trent McDuffie into the slot a little more often. Try to limit the Ravens' pass catchers. Cover as long as you possibly can, and crush the pocket. It's also my 4th favorite Paramore song. It's a crush, not the pocket. I believe this was on the Nintendo DS. Guitar Hero. And if you're wondering right now, how did they do Guitar Hero on the Nintendo DS? Depending on how long our breaks end up going today, I might be able to go get it, and I can show you if you're on the video feed. But Crush by Paramore, and I don't think it was Thanks for the Memories. There was a Fall Out Boy song that I listened to through Nintendo DS aux plug headphones about 100,000 times while actively getting carpal tunnel. It was not a ergonomically satisfying Guitar Hero game, but it was a portable one. And I didn't have any of the console ones. So what did that have to do with Chiefs Ravens? Something about crush the pocket.
Yeah,
Let's take a timeout. Whoop, there we go. Hey, Tucker, you're next, actually. You hit the button, and then you get your ass in here. We're going to talk about some football.
Looking to remodel your home and in search of a top-quality company to do the job? Contact Elenco. Since 1986, Elenco has been the remodeler of choice for customers throughout Kansas and Missouri. As a family-owned and operated business, Elenco provides customers top-quality products and unbeatable service, straight from their family to yours. From windows and doors to siding, insulation, and bathroom renovations, there's no need that Elenco can't meet and exceed. Elenco only installs products that have proven track records of success, such as the Kohler Luckstone shower system. Elenco's installers are factory-trained professionals who know how to get the job done, not only quickly, but flawlessly. Whether you're located in Kansas City, Topeka, Wichita, or a rural town in northeastern Kansas or western Missouri, Elenco will come to you. Go to elencohome.com for more information. That's ALENCO home.com. Again, elencohome.com for more information, and contact them about all your home improvement needs.
What's up, everybody? Benny Heiss with KCSN, betting analyst for Kansas City Sports Network. And Missouri, get ready. The wait is almost over because DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app, is coming soon to the Show Me State. And guess what? You can get started today because new Missouri customers can get $300 in bonus bets once DraftKings Sportsbook launches on December 1st. You can download it now, place a $5 bet once they are live. Guys, DK Sportsbook brings everything you need to really elevate your game day. You got live in-game betting, super fast payouts, endless ways to get in on the action, all right from your phone. And when they are live in Missouri, you're going to be betting with the Sportsbook app trusted by millions. It is safe, secure, fast money withdrawals. That's the place you want to play. So here's what you do. You download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use the code KCSN to grab $300 in bonus bets with just a $5 bet when DraftKings Sportsbook goes live on December 1st. That is code KCSN in partnership with DraftKings Sportsbook. Remember, if you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. You must be 21 plus, physically present in Missouri. Eligibility restrictions apply. Bonus bets expire 7 days after they're issued. Excludes customers who redeem pre-launch sign-up offer. Terms are available at sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos.
If you ever wondered what Nintendo DS Lite speakers sound like, that seems like as much as we could reasonably play without getting into a copyright place. But I feel like 4 seconds out of the DS speakers. Look at this. Again, who decided that this was going to work? It doesn't matter. I played it a lot. Gives you a little guitar pick stylus.
I think
this
I
is
my.
my.
I gotta give you the full screen for this one.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
We got Crush by Paramore. It was the Takeover, the Breaks Over by Fall Out Boy, The Pretender, Tarantula, Dirty Little Secrets on it. It was Guitar Hero Decades, I believe. So those were the ones that I was really feeling in the 2000s. You can get into the 2010s, pardon me. And then it was an absolute blast to play for 15 minutes at a time until your hand started just disintegrating. Only 4 buttons, not 5 on the Guitar Hero little clicker because you can't move your pinky, when you're doing that. But at some point, we're gonna spend an everything else segment with me talking about revitalizing my original DS and then buying a 3DS and then making that a huge part of my gaming life. It's been very, very exciting, very, very good. Guitar Hero DS, not great, but fun. If anyone wants to buy it as a retro thing, you can have it for hundreds of dollars. I'm guessing several of these on eBay right now for not that much.
And you just had that from you when you were a kid. You didn't repurchase it. That's just like
correct.
You still had it. Okay.
That's
a good.
This is my. I think it was a 13th birthday, maybe.
Wow.
I've always said that, but I think it was later than. I think it might have been a little later than that. I don't know. I'm pretty sure we were in Arizona at the time. Well, I'll ask my mom at some point. But yeah, this is my original DS Lite, which I played so much of. And
you have a skin on it?
I never had a 3DS till recently. This is a skin. Yeah, I considered when I was sort of, again, refreshing it a little bit, right. I considered peeling off the skin of it, and it's Mario Galaxy, Mario Dancing. I thought about it's pretty sick. It's also underneath, it's going to be pristine, because I put this on, like, the day I got it. And this is just how it's lived since then. But, yeah, I love a little handheld thing. This will be a longer topic someday when I can talk about video game handhelds. Emulation has come so far. It's a fascinating thing.
I played a lot of Pokemon Fire Red is what I played on the Game Boy. That was the introduction to it. I can't remember what was the one that came out on the I mean, there's a bunch that came out on the DS, but like some of the first ones that came out on the DS, because I had one. I played that in Nintendo.
Platinum.
I can talk about Platinum.
Platinum is the one that I got on this not too long ago and played for the first time. Several others, you're right. I rolled credits on Pokemon Ultra Sun last night after Thursday Night Football. I've been chipping away on that one on 3DS. Wow. It's great. It's Pokemon Legends ZA is coming out in like a few weeks. I'm very excited about. We'll talk about that extensively when that comes out. But yeah, we didn't make a graphic for this today because I didn't know. Because sometimes, as the best versions of our shows always do, sometimes you just get there on accident, and that's a good place to be. Also, Tucker, love the hat. I don't know if this is the stream debut or just the everything else debut of the Run the Damn Ball hat, but it's really strong.
It is the debut, actually. I think I showed it on a stream because Jackie was saying, like, you better not have the Run the Damn Ball hat because I had the Blocking Company hat on. Somebody football company.
I love that one.
And I was like, Jackie, I had the Run the Damn Ball hat. I'm looking at eBay right now for the Guitar Hero on Tour. By the way, phenomenal naming convention to call it Guitar Hero on Tour because it's mobile.
Really good.
So good.
Really
I
good.
love that. I hate to break it to you, they're not going for hundreds of dollars.
Darn. Really?
Yeah.
Including the little grip with the player thingy?
Yeah. Just the grip is like $14.
Hey, you know what?
With the game, you can get
this is my original one. Yeah, that's a better deal. You definitely want both parts of it.
Right.
Yeah.
Nope. I didn't. Sorry.
No, it's okay.
Guitar Hero just
I'm
gives me
thinking
anxiety.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Like it's one of those things where the thing will pop up, and I just remember as a kid being so incredibly anxious of the circles that were flying down the screen. And I'd be like, oh my gosh, I'm going to mess this up. And so I'm not. Yeah, that's why I
And
play
then just
Nintendo
clunk,
games a lot.
clunk, clunk, clunk. Oh,
Yeah.
Tucker, we could do the next 30 minutes just talking about DS games. I can be downstairs and back in 30 seconds with my 3DS. We can talk about some Nintendogs. We can talk about Animal Crossing. We can talk about all the Pokemon games that are on there.
I haven't. I started to get into Animal Crossing, but I haven't really dipped fully into it because football season started. What was I think? Oh, what's the emulator that we have on our phones that we've talked about recently?
Delta.
Delta. Yes,
Delta is the emulator that's I think still is available on app stores, which is great. At some point I'm just gonna have to do like a little emulation thing also, and I can tell you what you are legally allowed to do and what you're not legally allowed to do. And basically, you can have you're allowed to own the ROM file. Legally speaking, you're allowed to have the ROM files for games that you own. So like I can talk about. So like I've got the. I have the game card for Guitar Hero on Tour. So, if I wanted to go download the ROM to where it would live only digitally, I believe, in case there are any lawyers watching, from Nintendo, a company who I've given so much money to over the years, I think we're good here. I've got a whole pile of Piplups over here that were purchased from the Pokemon Center, so just give me a break. But I believe I've got my facts right. Where, like, if you want to go download the ROMs for all of the games you own digitally, you're good to do that. If you own physically, you're good to do that. Oh, that's Nintendogs on Tucker's phone. Oh, it's the best.
You can't really tell. Maybe the camera will adjust, but that's too bad if you can't. But I have a Shibu Inu, is that what it's called? He's probably so
Shiba
stinky.
Inu, I think, yeah. It's
I
their
like this
stinky
music. Oh.
I have to believe that this is purely a factor of nostalgia and just like what soothed our childhood anxieties while you were thinking about how stressed you were watching the dots come down in Guitar Hero. I'm thinking about how soothing the Animal Crossing music through the DS speakers is. That sort of like lo-fi, like caringly made but relatively low quality actual production,
100%.
like actual quality levels. It just really hits such a perfect note, pun intended. Really brings me down. That,
That's so great.
Maybe that's what we need to. New bit to just have in the feed for later here. Maybe we just need to throw. I know you've already been doing this with KCSN Live in terms of like background music. Maybe we just need some really specific, just kind of like low intensity, pleasant, kind of lo-fi Animal Crossing, Nintendogs sort of music that we can play. Maybe if it's a Monday after a loss, or maybe if it's maybe the fan base is just a little too amped for a game, that we can kind of bring a little Zen Garden. This is nice. See, if you've got stress plugging up your heart, first of all, go see a doctor, specifically probably a cardiologist. I am not a doctor. But if you're stressed, if you can't sleep at night, if you're thinking, Mike Denny says we're entering Lo-Fi Stadium, and Mike, that's an absolute club banger right there. That's a great joke.
Good. It's very good.
Lo-Fi Stadium is what this show is called now. And we're going to rebrand it because that's better.
I'm going to turn up the gain on my microphone so it's really ASMR.
Oh, I can do the same thing. Oh, people are going to hate this. Okay, hold on, here we go.
We're just going to whisper into our microphones.
Yeah. Listen, Tucker, I know your hat says you want to run the damn ball. What do you think the Chiefs are going to do offensively against the Ravens?
Well,
I'll hang up and listen.
Here's the thing, is we all know that the Chiefs have to run the ball. But will they actually do it? That's the biggest question. I think that this is something that literally everyone knows that they have to do. But I'm not sure that they will. And I worry about that.
I do too. It's fascinating because it's clearly the thing that the Ravens are the worst at, defending the running game.
Right.
but it's also the thing the Chiefs have been the worst at doing. I really do have a little bit of hope that Brashard Smith might be the guy to unlock a little bit more of a gear. But my absolutely, like, probably not gonna happen, but genuinely hopeful take is, what if Isaiah Pacheco just has like 20 carries for 100 yards?
Yeah.
What if we just get a 100-yard rushing game from Isaiah Pacheco, and for one game, he looks like David Montgomery? Wouldn't that make you happy?
That would make me ecstatic, Josh. I don't know if I can convey my emotions anymore. I would absolutely love to see the Chiefs get after it, and the Hog Mollies get after it up front, and totally own a Baltimore Ravens defensive front that is decimated with injuries, and they have their best player with a neck injury already ruled out early on in the week. I think that is a perfect storm for the Chiefs to have a really good rushing game. I just worry that they won't actually run the ball. And this defense isn't very good that the Baltimore Ravens have. Their secondary might be worse than the Giants' secondary. This defense might be worse than the Giants' defense. I don't know, man. I just think that they need to run the ball. But they don't have a lot of great running backs either. Will Elijah Mitchell finally play? Probably not, but we'll see.
I'm glad you mentioned the health, Tucker, because that was actually something I wanted to mention here. The Ravens injury report, as you mentioned, Nnamdi Madubuike, is already been ruled out. Patrick Ricard, Ronnie Stanley, Kyle Van Noy, and Broderick Washington have not practiced this week. But just a few minutes ago, John Harbaugh did say that Ronnie Stanley, quote, "He's doing well. He's in a day-to-day world right now." Harbaugh also said he expects Isaiah likely to be a full participant for today's practice, according to Jamison Hensley, retweeted by Nate Taylor of ESPN.
ESPN.
There's a whole day-to-day world now? Man, I'm glad Eric Berry never got stuck in there. That's day-to-day world?
Yeah, he might have been the first one there. You know, he was like
It's like a Shadow Realm situation.
The America Vespucci of I bet you guys didn't think we were going to talk about America Vespucci today on the of the day-to-day world.
I didn't. I definitely didn't. That's crazy, Tucker. What a pull.
Thank you.
Let's do our worry and our wish. Why not? What do you think?
Yeah. You know that song One Kiss by Dua Lipa? That's a good song. All
right, next week.
Think of One Kiss.
next week, one worry, one wish, one kiss, and it's.
We want to kiss.
I'm worried about the running game. I wish to see better special teams, and I want to kiss.
Dua Lipa.
Dua Lipa. There, great, fantastic. I just went straight back to the DS thing. Like, is there anything? And I want to kiss Mario. I don't know. That was the only character I had looking back at me.
Yeah, he does have a pretty kissable face. I will say that.
Peach sees something in him. Actually, hold on. Nope, sorry. You got to go back to. We didn't make a graphic for this. Hold on.
Okay.
Did Nintendo just recently say that they're not a couple? They're just very close friends or whatever.
Yeah, they did. Which tough look. Mario got put in the friend zone there. Tough look from old Mario.
By Nintendo too. By like Papa Nintendo. I mean, he didn't get. Look, I think we have plenty of. I think we have plenty of evidence that at bare minimum they've got something going on, right?
Yeah.
You know, maybe it's kind of messy, but it's their messy.
Maybe Bowser is actually the romantic interest.
Oh man, I googled it and now I'm in a section of Reddit I don't really want to be in. I gotta go. All right, my one worry is that my algorithm's not gonna recover, and my one wish is that we go to the next segment again. Sorry, I googled Mario Peach not together and instantly regretted what happened.
Yeah. So. Yikes. You ever just like look something up on Reddit, right, as you're doing right now, and then a couple days later you'll get like a notification from that community. So like sometimes what I just Dancing with the Stars, I looked up what was the lowest score ever on Dancing with the Stars. 'Cause I was like, someone's got to be real bad that these judges were like, yeah,
Right.
I mean, this sucks. So I looked that up. Now I can't stop getting notifications from Reddit about Dancing with the Stars, Dancing with the Stars. So like every now and again, I'll just like search for a random question. I will click on Reddit to find the answer because somebody 4 years ago had the same problem I did, you know, and already asked a question about it. And then I get my answer, but then they will not let me forget about that community. And I think it's hilarious.
No, I think that's great. I'm also on Newsweek.com reading a headline that says, despite everything, Nintendo confirms Mario and Princess Peach are not a couple.
Despite everything.
Despite everything.
It's so funny. Despite literally everything.
Okay, via the Nintendo Today app, sorry, we're back to this again. The exact phrasing, just so I can really circle this one up. Princess Peach and Mario are good friends and help each other out whenever they can.
Huh?
I mean, that's one way to put it. Okay, one worry, one wish, Tucker.
My soundboard was turned down and I hit a sound effect there. That's a real bummer. I really missed the opportunity there. My sound effect board was turned down.
You want to take another shot at it, or you just want to?
I mean, a little bit. Yeah, I do want to take.
Well, we're gonna need two shots at it now, and I feel like you missed two windows.
Yeah, 100% I did. So this is what I meant to do.
Huh?
That's what I thought. Mike Denny asked, how long until Travis Kelce's on Dancing with the Stars? I think he's too famous now.
I think that he could go on Dancing with the Stars. I don't think it's out of the realm of possibilities.
Who's the most famous person on Dancing with the Stars this year?
Well,
this
Baron
is not
Davis
a show
just
that
got-
I've ever watched in my life.
Baron Davis just got voted off.
Oh man! Oh no!
Charlie D'Amelio won it a couple years ago. JoJo Siwa was on it a couple years ago too. But then I know what you might be thinking, Josh, and this is a question I have for Tara. Is like these people have like entertainment and dance backgrounds. So like, and I know I wanted to talk about Dancing with the Stars later on in the show, a little bit because like, they use so much confetti, and I don't understand how it all gets, number one, cleaned up so fast, and number two, how they have so much of it. Because it's a live show. Dancing with the Stars is a live show. It is, you go out there, you do your dance, you get your results, or no, sorry, you do your dance, they shoot off all the confetti in the world, and then you get your results, and then you go back up, and then the next person is like, they're doing like an intro. So it's probably about like, I mean, they probably have about 5 minutes to get all of the,
that's a hell of a room turn.
But it is, but it is a lot. But I'm worried that Harrison
Robert
Butker's
Irwin
kicks
is
are
on
gonna
this
matter.
year, by the way. This is the guy. Ice Pyro says, all I want is a show called Jason and Travis Do a Side Quest. I think that's more likely in terms of the next phase for them, is that just like some TV station just says, hey guys, do you want an infinite budget to do like a travel show or whatever? And maybe they won't, because it's nice to do a podcast from home, speaking from experience.
It is, and I think, Josh, what we need to do is just intertwine our we talk about what we want to talk about, right? We'll talk what the chat says, but then just intertwine our like takes in between.
That's good.
So like talking about Robert Irwin, he's actually been really good. Like he's been one of like the better ones. I think that he had like one of, like the top score was tied for the top score after the first 2 weeks, and they had a double elimination, which sent home Baron Davis, which he not good. Baron Davis is not good.
Not good.
Which is too bad. And then I can't remember who else. He was like on the Goonies or something maybe. They actually have a really decent like cast this year of like people that I have heard of. I was actually pretty impressed with it. But ballroom dancing is such like a different animal than just like any other type of dancing, right? Like the tango and the quick step. And
I don't know if that's true or not. Renee's gone right now. She taught ballroom dance for like a couple of years. And so she could answer all of these questions if she wasn't currently at an art show and presumably not putting this. Honestly, she should have us on a speaker right now. If you think about it, she'd be doing some free promo.
She should. Also, do you think that Leonardo DiCaprio and Benito del Toro doing the New Heights podcast, that was kind of weird, right? That feels like it would be a little bit beneath them, dare I say?
So I saw a tweet about that. I totally disagree. I think the context here is getting in the way. I think if you said, "Hey, do you want to go promote your movie in the same place where Taylor Swift was on for 2 hours and announced her next album, I think Blind, you go, yeah, 1,000%. That's the biggest. What was that on Kimmel? Was that on Fallon? Who was biggest show? What was the biggest show in the world? And you go, oh yeah, it was on New Heights with Jason and Travis Kelce. You go, oh, okay, well, yeah, that makes sense. I think it's also probably just where things are going. I think that is going to continue to be it's just on, because again, you can do it from your PR day if you're whatever you're promoting. Getting both of those guys I thought was interesting, but like I don't know that anybody is above being on New Heights when Taylor Swift was on New Heights and announced a new album.
That's a great point. I do.
My mom says she has us on the speaker at Dollar Tree right now.
Let's go. Big Dollar Tree podcast.
We got to go to jbbrisco.com and subscribe to everything else with Joshua Brisco. Whoever's hearing this.
Benicio del Toro is phenomenal in the Phoenician scheme, by the way.
Oh, so good. I haven't seen this new one, but I had the exact same thought of like, man, he was so good in that. I needed to see that a second time. And that's why I'm worried that the pass rush plan isn't going to work.
Right. I agree.
That's my one worry.
Well, if you look at Lamar's averages, if I told you Lamar, I was doing this while you were doing your little monologue there. I went and
I'd appreciate it if you weren't so dismissive about my big good monologue.
Big beautiful monologue.
All right, so I was doing my cute little whatever.
Yeah. Lamar Jackson has averaged, this is like, if I tell you this is what he has in this game on Sunday, right? 204 passing yards, 85 rushing yards, 1 pass touchdown, 1 rush touchdown. What would you think?
I would think that I can't find. There we go. I found the graphic. What were you saying?
There you go. 200. This is the line I give you. I say the game's over. You don't know what the score is.
Sorry, I was distracted thinking about the little monologue I'm going to do on Monday.
The game's over. You haven't seen the final score. This would be really weird, though, because you do the post-game show and you haven't seen the final score. But you see that Lamar Jackson has thrown for 204 yards, rushed for 85, had a passing touchdown and a rushing touchdown. What would you think the final score would be?
Pretty low. I don't think they would have gotten a 30. I think a little 24-21 kind of situation. 27-24.
I'll give you a little bit here. Derrick Henry. What if he has 100 goes for 100 yards and a touchdown too on top of that? Do you think the Ravens win with those numbers combined?
Well, I'm still having a hard time. I'm accounting for 3 offensive touchdowns there.
That's true.
Against this version of the Chiefs offense, maybe.
Well, those are their averages since 2019 against the Kansas City Chiefs.
That is so bonkers.
Yeah. 100 yards for Henry was honestly kind of a bit higher than I thought it was going to be since Steve Spagnuolo got him, because it feels like he's done a really good job containing him. But maybe that's just like Derrick Henry being contained.
I think that's a volume stat. Yeah, I think that's a volume stat a little bit. I can't think of a whole lot of times that he's just had like a back-breaking runaway huge play that's just killed them. It hasn't really happened that way.
Let me go back to the game logs here and look at the ones that he's played the Kansas City Chiefs, and obviously one of those games being that AFC title game. Dating back to 2019, he had 23 carries for 188 yards in one game. 23 carries is insane. That was in 2019. In 2021, he had 29 carries for 86 yards, so they did a pretty good job containing him there. The game that the Chiefs beat him 20-17 in overtime, Matt Verderame and I talked about this on That Football Show because Patrick Mahomes had like 68 passing attempts in this game. 115 yards on 17 carries for Derrick Henry there. Most recently, when he was with Baltimore last year, he had 13 carries for 46 yards. And then going to the 2 playoff games that he's played against the Chiefs, 19 carries and... Oh, no, just 19 carries. And then the playoff game he played before against the Chiefs was not with Steve Spagnuolo. So only 19 carries in the game against Steve Spagnuolo. So he's getting like 20-ish carries a game, too. So, like, that's a lot.
It's a lot, and he hasn't been, again, not as productive. And the fumbling problem is really, truly fascinating. And so, again, that's what I think for me, my combo of, like, I think I am slightly less worried about Derrick Henry than most because we've had that over history. Like, I remember talking about that AFC Championship game against the Titans and everything leading up to that. So that's why my worry I'm planting is just that the pass rush plan doesn't work and that Lamar has enough time and the crushing the pocket slowly around him doesn't do enough to force him to get the ball out quickly, and that the Chiefs secondary just can't hold on for quite that long. That's my worry. You said yours out loud earlier, Tucker, but officially, what is your official worry?
Yeah, my worry is that Harrison Butker missing kicks actually matters in this game, because this is a game that could be definitely won on the margins. And look, the Baltimore Ravens are not good at winning on the margins. Like, that is proven. John Harbaugh has proven over a long stretch of time that he can't really win these close games, and there hasn't been any, very many blown fourth quarter leads that John Harbaugh wasn't involved in, right? Like, a lot of those games that get blown in the fourth quarter are with John Harbaugh. So this is a team that loses in the margins. The Chiefs have been a team historically that have won in the margins, but that margins are getting smaller because your highest paid kicker now is consistently missing field goals. And I think that I just worry that is going to matter in this game. I know that the Ravens have a rookie kicker too, so it's not like they have prime Justin Tucker over there waiting to kind of capitalize on some of these miscues. But especially with a guy like Lamar, with Derrick Henry, with the offense that they have, if you're taking these longer field goal attempts, right, and you're missing them and they're getting the ball in better field position, that puts your defense at a risk. So, like, if you're kicking these field goals, you have to make them. I know that's not really like groundbreaking analysis, but I think it's something that I do worry about, like missing field goals, leading them to shorter fields, allowing them to score more points, having it being easier on their offense. So I think the missing kicks, not only not putting points on the board, but giving the Ravens offense, which is the better part of, like, the Ravens offense is probably the best unit in this game. And giving that best unit a higher advantage, I think, is less than ideal.
And especially when it's taking points off the board for you. I think I understand you're saying, score points instead of giving them good field position, which also is going to kind of be mine as well. But I really do think it's worth highlighting, because that's just not math the Chiefs have had to do with Harrison Butker in a very long time. It's just not been a concern that same way. Here's my wish, and I'm getting bolder in my wishes, because these aren't predictions. This is a wish to a genie to say, like, hey, and no monkey's paw situation, but it's like, hey, here, you know what I'd really wish I get to see in this game? Something I'd be excited to talk about post-game? I don't want to see Matt Araiza. He's allowed to hold kicks.
Yeah.
That's all I want to see. Now, look, obviously, that would be a great thing for the Chiefs if it's just like he doesn't need to punt very much or punt at all. But the Matt Araiza specific element of it to me is a combination of just offensive success and fourth down aggression, where there is a little bit of a double-edged sword here, because similarly, you go for it on 4th and 2 at midfield, and you don't get it. Now the Ravens have a short field, and your margin for error has shrunk tremendously. But when you are talking about the Ravens having the better, more productive offense, you're saying that you do think your defense is at least good enough to hold up here, big picture. But you've gotta find a way to steal a couple possessions. If this is you get a couple of turnovers, maybe you can afford to be a little bit less risky in terms of when you have the football. But when you have the chance to decide if you're going to continue holding the football or not, I want to see them keep pushing for it, especially with a Ravens defense that should struggle in 4th and short. When you have the opportunity to stay on the field, steal a possession that way, we don't categorize them this way, but a 4th down stop is a turnover on downs. A 4th down conversion is a new possession for an offense as opposed to punting it away from that spot. So I think for me, the combination of just I need to see the chains keep moving. They cannot have a bunch of short, quick possessions and then punting it back. And also, any of those kind of gray area punt go situations, I think they ought to be going in this game, because again, theoretically it's taking advantage of the Ravens' weakness and it keeps you on the field. That's my wish. Matt Araiza spends his day on the sideline and holding a couple of kicks here and there, hopefully more extra points and field goals. Tucker, what's your wish?
My wish is a little bit more big picture, right? I guess my wish is for the Chiefs to go out, take care of business, comfortable win. Obviously, we know that's a wish, because the Chiefs never play a comfortable game.
Right, that's a dream. We're not doing one wish or one worry, one dream.
And then I'm gonna kiss Andy Reid on the face if that happens. I want the Chiefs to go out there, take care of business, and then just put the national media into a mental pretzel, because they have all week been talking about how good the Ravens are, but they're 1-3, but they're so good. Like, this team is so good. They're the AFC favorite. They just have the best quarterback. They've got everything. But if they go 1-3 and the Chiefs look really good against them, but they've already killed the Chiefs, right? The Chiefs are already dead. Like the Chiefs dynasty is done. Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce is washed, and they're all washed. Their time's up. It's the Ravens' time now. It's the Bills' time. But then all of a sudden, if the Chiefs win and they win comfortably and win in a fashion that makes Baltimore not look very good, the mental pretzel that the national media is going to be doing is going to be insane. The mental gymnastics that are going to be coming out of Get Up. I'm sure Dan Orlovsky is going to say something crazy because he already said that the loser of this game is not making the playoffs, which is crazy.
Playoffs?
Because look at the AFC. Like, what are the 7 teams making the playoffs? That if you don't say the Ravens are making it or you don't say the Chiefs are making it, give me 7 other teams that are making the playoffs. No, it's not possible.
I don't have them. Yeah.
It's not possible. They've already said some outlandish things. I cannot wait for the more outlandish things they'll say if the Chiefs comfortably win and just absolutely ruin the collective Get Up brain and the First Take brain of America. That's what I wish for.
That's a wonderful wish. You know what I wish for? I wish for eventually for us to actually, this is really me, this is all my fault, to actually get to the total nonsense segment with time to spare in today's show. We're not gonna. So I think your Dancing with the Stars comments may be a teaser. I'm going for the second consecutive show to move the movie and album I wanted to talk about back a little bit. We did some Nintendo DS talk that was not on the rundown. We got a little bit of Dancing with the Stars talk that was not on the rundown, but we're not, if we don't play this Tua clip now, we're never gonna. So now introducing a new segment with a new lower third. This segment is called Huh. That's it. That's the Huh. That might be the extent of the analysis. Tua Tagovailoa, Dolphins quarterback, was at the podium, weirdly playing defense, which is weird for a quarterback. No, he's just
he's used to it. To be fair,
yeah,
because he throws a lot of picks. You know, yeah.
Hey, Tua's been trending in the wrong direction for a bit now, but to you know what? I'm not gonna make this call till after we watch this clip together. Here's a clip of Tua Tagovailoa talking about being criticized in the act of criticism around quarterback play.
I heard Cam Newton say it the other day.
Well, anybody can play quarterback in this league. Then I mean, I want to see anybody on the streets come and play quarterback. I mean, Cam's doing his thing for sure, but you know, I think it's easier to be able to hold a clicker and talk about it that way, or talk about what someone else is doing wrong when you're not going out and having to do the same as them, right? So I think it's easy to do that. I think anybody can do that. I don't think anybody can play quarterback.
Okay, so I'm going to talk about 2 things first, and then we're going to talk about the third thing, okay? First thing is that it's wrong to say that anybody can do it with a clicker. That's just not true. Some people are good at bringing that across. I would say like Kurt Warner and Benjamin Solak both do a good job and often, you know, kind of butt heads with that. They're both doing a good job evaluating quarterback play. Cool. The second thing is that I think it's pretty lame to say that you can't criticize my job if you can't do my job. I just don't think that's how we operate in the world altogether. So those are 2 of 3 things I wanted to mention. The third thing is that he's talking about Cam Newton! He's saying Cam Newton can put down the clicker and come hop into under the helmet and find out what it's like? I just opened his reference page just for fun. Cam Newton, 3-time Pro Bowl, 1-time All-Pro, 2015 AP MVP, Pro Football Writers Association of America MVP, AP Offensive Player of the Year, all in 2015. Offensive Rookie of the Year in 2011, Burt Bell Award winner in 2015. Offensive Player of the Year 2015. 2011 Offensive Rookie of the Year. 2015 Offensive Player of the Year. 2011 Offensive Rookie of the Year.
Yeah.
And like a truly dominant force that has like an unbelievable amount of cultural cachet as a quarterback. There are very, very few quarterbacks who I think have a bigger had a bigger impact on his era and then have had a larger ripple effect on the game since. Cam Newton is not only a pretty decorated quarterback. Obviously, he got to a Super Bowl, and you know, his 2 best seasons were the ones that you heard all of those stats from, and there were injuries and there were ups and downs and whatever. Yeah. Tua Tagovailoa would kill to have a sniff of Cam Newton's career. If we're going to do the, like, come do it in my shoes thing, I can't believe... I saw him do that. Anybody can do it with a clicker. It's easier to talk than it is to play, which that part's true. Anybody, you know what? You want to criticize me? Come do it a mile in my shoes. Cam Newton?
Yeah.
Huh.
So we all know the wide receivers that Tua has had in his career, right? I mean, he's had Tyreek Hill, pretty good wide receiver. Jalen Waddle, pretty good wide receiver. You know who his leading wide receiver was on this team that he won the MVP with in 2015?
Oh, who Cam Newton's was?
Yeah.
2015.
Leading wide receiver, because Greg Olsen was the leading receiver on that team, right? Greg Olsen, good football player, right?
Was it Ted Ginn?
It was Ted Ginn with 739 yards. Do it number
God,
two.
it feels good to nail that. Sorry, I can't hear you. I
celebrated
so
I
hard
asked,
my headphones fell
I
off.
asked if you wanted to guess who the number 2 was.
No, I'll never be. Kelvin Benjamin.
Jericho Cotchery.
Oh, hey, Jericho Cotchery. I remember
Number
him.
3, Devin Funchess. So, I mean, he just had the who's who of wide receivers that he was throwing the football to, guys. Like, that's what gets lost in this. Yeah, he had, like, Greg Olsen, obviously, good football player. Jonathan Stewart was their leading rusher. Cam Newton also had 636 yards on the ground that year. He was the second leading rusher. More than Mike Tolbert and Cameron. Oh, they had Fozzie Whitaker as well.
They had who?
Fozzie Whitaker.
Who remember Fozzie Whitaker? Oh,
Cameron
I
Roberts
loved the
Payton.
Tolbert, Jonathan Stewart backfield was so good.
Now, to be fair, we did talk about this on That Football Show. So if you want Verderam's unfiltered takes on this, you go listen to that.
I will be.
But I brought up, yes, he did have a really good defense. I mean, they had Roman Harper.
Yeah, that's totally fine. That's
Josh
totally
Norman.
fine. I also have eyes.
Yeah.
I watched Cam Newton.
Well, yeah, Cam Newton had... Let me go back. I'm sorry, scrolling back up. Cam Newton had 7.1 touchdown percentage, which led the league that year. He had 3,837 yards with those 3 wide receivers. Like, he put up numbers and ran for 600 more.
Here's the other thing. Here's the other thing for Tua. And I do not subscribe to the idea that if you make enough money, you are now available for all and any type of criticism, and that you shouldn't like have feelings. You're like, athlete mental health is not completely solved by making tens of millions of dollars, right? I don't buy that. What I do buy a little bit is that Tua is up there making that argument, taking home $51 million in cash this year for doing his job. He's got a $40 million cap hit. You're the leader of that team, at least in theory, right? You are a very highly paid quarterback who has been rewarded time and time again for being fine. And there have been too many instances. Look, I'm sure that, building your offense around wide receiver. Oh, I think I just screwed up my headphones here, Tucker. I
can hear you just fine. I don't know if you can hear me.
I was twirling my my aux plug for these headphones that we both have. Or even worse, when I celebrated a second ago, they hit the... Nope, we're back.
Okay, there we go.
It popped out a little bit. I was twirling the cord, and it started getting real fuzzy. Anyway, I assume that having, Tyreek Hill constantly telling the world about how he feels about you, both at the microphone and on the field, isn't the easiest job in the world, but Patrick Mahomes seemed to do it okay. If you believe you're one of those guys, how can you get up to the podium talking about, it's really easy to criticize me with the clicker, but why don't you get out here and do it? Like, that's a lame argument against me. If I'm criticizing Tua and that's his argument, I feel like I've probably won. If the best argument you have back is, you're right, I've been booty, but you would be too. I go, oh, cool, I've been owned, I guess. Thank you, Tua. Like, awesome. That is just like mind-boggling to me that's his go-to, and he's had a few clips like that lately. And I don't know. What I was gonna say earlier, I think we can bring this back in a new fashion for everything else. This was a bit years and years and years ago. Welcome to the Dork Club, Tua Tagovailoa. You deserve it. The first inductee of the everything else version. I think Coach K was the first inductee of the AES version of the Dork Club. Yeah, I have no choice but to bring you into the Dork Club. Sorry.
I think that is very good, and he could probably be the. I think he's probably like the president of the Dork Club.
I'm sure he's running right now.
It's probably when he changed his hair and he went to like the cornrows, right? The braids. I don't think he has the aura to pull that off. I'll say it.
See, he has both sleeves now, right?
Yeah, I think so.
That should have helped. Why didn't that help? That should have increased his aura tremendously.
Well, maybe he needed to leave one arm for getting buckets, because so your shooting arm needs to be free for getting buckets.
Right. I think that's what he did last year. That didn't help.
And then he said, right. And he said, well, if this didn't help, I got to get more tattoos. But I do think, because we talked about this
in fairness, that's something Tua and I have in common.
No buckets. I do think I talked about this on KCSN Live because with Lamar's hair and on the Monday Night Football game, I was like, I didn't realize Lamar had that much hair. And I was like, I actually right now, I don't know if I could tell you what Lamar's hair was before I saw this, And then I think it was brought up that he had cornrows, and that's when it was asked who on KCSN would look best with cornrows, and Josh, it might be you with the head of hair that you got. I think you could pull off some cornrows.
Well, I think I have the volume of hair required. I'm not sure if that equates to pulling it off, but I appreciate your confidence in me.
I don't know what you're talking about.
If Vinny Pasquantino can do it.
That is true. Vinny did do it with the braid.
Very
that
briefly,
seems like
right?
a lot of work. Yeah, it seems like a lot of work to make sure nothing gets messed up there. Seth gets.
All right, I'm gonna rip
Jazz in the chat.
Hilarious. If Seth grew his hair out for a full year, it'd be amazing. Well, listen, the way things are going, I feel like one more big aesthetic change could be in the cards for Seth down the line.
True.
My only answer to that question remains Dirk. I think Dirk is the only one. Dirk is the only one who I can see doing it. I can perfectly visualize that.
100%.
Real quick bit of news here, then we'll sign off because we've gone way late, and who's complaining? Nobody. Andy Reid is apparently speaking, or spoke recently. Nate Taylor said, Andy Reid said everybody but rookie defensive end Ashton Gelati, illness, participated in today's practice. Reid said Gelati should be fine for Sunday's game. Reid said Xavier Worthy is expected to play. Quote, he's been able to keep himself in good shape, Reid said of Worthy. So that may have been the extent of Andy Reid's Fast Friday, but there you go. Gelati not practicing. I'm guessing Christian Fulton probably limited again. I'm not really expecting to see him again. But we'll keep an eye on that, and we got a big game to come around this Sunday. So hopefully we'll get to come around and do a very excited Monday of the Chiefs are back and things are good. Not, our third sad Chiefs fan edition in 4 games. Neat. Something we've definitely never done before. But that's how it goes sometimes. Anything else from you, Tucker, before we get out of here?
I don't think so. I think I'm ready to get this game going. It's one of those things where, and Josh, I know you and I both talk about these games a lot, but this one in particular is one of those where I'm ready for it. I don't think I can talk anymore about it. I think I'm good. I think I've hit the quota of talking about this game.
I would agree with you, but if you want more from me, you can hear me for 3 hours before the game. Not entirely. Most of this third hour is a lot of whatever. A lot of throwing it to Dane and Hughes and Josh Klingler, who carry most of the weight for that network pregame. But I'll be live 3 hours before kickoff over on 96.5 The Fan, the Chiefs Radio Network pregame show, nationally going that final hour of 3. And then you can hear the KCSN live postgame show right here on YouTube. I'll, of course, have mine there. Everything gets podcasted. It's all out. It gets out into the universe. You can watch it on demand, listen on demand later after the fact, whatever works for you. I think we can all agree that the really nice thing would be to be doing another victory post-game show, which I would enjoy very, very, very much. But if you think it's easy to sit back here and talk about how much better of a job you could do on our post-game show, why don't you put down the clicker and put on a headset? Al Michaels. Bye, Mom.